12 seconds to go in the game. Niners lead by 4. He'll fire to the right side.
The border battle is on. The revenge game. Rodgers against the Vikings. So let's bum everybody out and talk about injuries. And let's start right off the bat with the ones that we care about the most. The Packers injuries. So start off the nobodies. Josh Jones, backup safety, did not participate. I would not be surprised if he was out. A backup linebacker, Oren Burks, has a shoulder injury, limited participation. He should play. Wide receiver, Devontae Adams, a starting wide receiver, but one of their better ones. Limited participation. He will play. Might slow him down a bit with his shoulder injury, but he will be just fine. The biggest injury, the one we're all here for, Aaron Rodgers and his pesky knee. Looks like Aaron Rodgers came down with a case of Sam Bradford. He did not participate in practice all week, and I'm skeptical whether or not he'll play at all. Now, Aaron Rodgers, the Packers really want this win, so I assume they'll pump this man full of pain meds and he'll go out on the field and he will look like a statue out there. And you could basically see the Sam Bradford game where he came back after his knee injury, except, he's still going to be making throws. You won't have any mobility back there, and this will look rough if he plays. Now, I think he is still their best. He's still their best option because their backup quarterback is god awful, and Aaron Rodgers is just that talented of a quarterback. But I don't know if that's the best decision for the Packers long term, but we'll have to see. I'll assume he'll play, but won't be very effective at all. Let's look at the Vikings injury report. And basically, 100% healthy. Everson Griffin's on here with limited participation. He'll play. Pat Elflein is in here. Limited participation. I think first action for Pat Elflein is Sunday against the Packers. Rock Thomas, full participation. Probably won't be dressed regardless. Mackenzie Alexander, full participation. He really wants to play after he saw how good Mike Hughes is. Same with Trey Waynes, full participation. Trey Waynes may be a butt of a lot of jokes, but he's closed out the Packers. 4. Now let's get to the heart of the game preview, and that's the key matchup. So let's look at the offensive side of the ball for the Vikings against the Packers defense. So the Packers are very stout in the middle of their defense, very good defensive tackles, led by one of my favorite non-Vikings, Mike Daniels, a game wrecker in the middle of the defense, and really does a lot of things, much like Sheldon Richardson does for the Vikings. And it'll be a very big matchup for whoever's playing in the interior of the line, whether it's Pat Elflein's first game back against a Pro Bowl caliber defensive tackle, whether it's Brett Jones, Tom Compton, or Danny Isidora. That'll be a tough matchup all day. And of course, Mike Remmers on the other side will have his hands full as well. But the pass rush for the Packers on the outside isn't as scary. Clay Matthews is aging and not as good. Same with the other linebackers, not very impressive with that group. And then the safeties, you have Ha Clinton Dix, which is still the best name in football, and a nobody on their safety spot. And then for the corners, you have Williams, who's their veteran corner. He's solid, kind of like Newman. You could beat him over the top, but he'll be a little bit better in those little crafty receivers. And then a lot of very youthful receivers. They're young, they're talented, but inexperienced. And I think the Vikings could eat them alive with their very good route running duo of Diggs and Thielen. So I don't really see a problem there. They don't really match up well against our receivers at all. And then, of course, Kyle Rudolph in the middle will have a field day, right? And I love Laquan Treadwell. I want him to have a good day. Kirk Cousins has a history of performing very well against the Packers, so I don't think we'll have problems on the air. Will Dalvin Cook, Latavius Murray have a good game on the ground? That we'll have to see. But last week, the Bears ran the ball 20 times with Howard and Cohen and got 97 yards, a little over 5 yards per carry, and that's when they have a god-awful passing attack. So with the balanced offense, our running game should have no problem. So our offense should move very smoothly up and down the field, either through the air or on the ground. And it really depends, how hard Jari Alexander King, Jackson, their young corners play. If they play at a top-notch level, it might make the game a lot closer. But I just don't think they're up to the challenge of Diggs and Thielen. If one of them are playing at an elite level, Thielen, Rudolph, we'll have other options. Will be open. So let's go to the other side of the ball and look at the Packers offense. And it's really keys down to Aaron Rodgers with his injury. And like I already said, I think he will play. I think he's too prideful to not play against the Vikings in a very meaningful game. But that being said, I don't think he'll play very well. I think he'll make some throws, but he'll be stuck in the pocket. The Vikings won't have to. They'll have to waste a defender being a spy when he rolls out and does things with his legs. We'll be able to do a lot more things that our corners want to stick on the receivers for the extra couple seconds. So I'm not very scared of the Packers offense either. With two okay receivers in Cobb and Adams, and then the only option that is very scary, and this is basically the key of the game, is controlling Jimmy Graham. Now, I don't think they've had much of a connection thus far, but if you look at what the Vikings did last week with George Kittle, of all people, shredding them from the tight end position, I think the Packers would take note of what they did and very much use their tight ends, with Mercedes Lewis being a very solid number 2 option. So if I'm the Packers, 2 tight end sets, get a running game going, and try your best. We open up the middle of the field with the tight ends, then maybe get that single coverage with the other receivers, and maybe to have A-Rod take some shots. Unfortunately for the Packers, the Vikings have an answer. If the tight ends are a problem, the Vikings just signed a guy that could help out and give the Vikings a new package in the defense, and that is George Ilaka. I think this could be the time he comes in and plays maybe not a significant chunk of the game, but you'll see him maybe on those third downs if they get third and mediums where it's Jimmy Graham situations, and he's been shredding us for maybe 40 yards already in the first half. We might want George Ilaka in the game. Get those 3 tight ends. We could have man up with Harrison Smith. We could have George Ilaka and help us out with the zone. The size matchup is there, and I like that matchup. It'd be interesting to see if it's more Jaron Kearse again this week if we do 3 safeties. But I think they'll just giving Ilaka a chance to get the Vikings defense down a bit more, and I think it's his time to shine, and I think he could be like a key contributor to help shut down the tight end passing game for the Packers. But regardless, I don't think he'll be super necessary even if he sucks. So I don't think the Vikings have much to worry about. Of course, the Packers can always pull something out of the hat. Aaron Rodgers, by all account, talent-wise, might be the GOAT. But score predictions, I think the Vikings will walk in Lambeau with their noses held high, and they'll get even higher because the Vikings are going to dominate the Packers in Lambeau. I think Minnesota 31, Green Bay 17. Give me your score predictions in the comments, and we'll see you guys in the next Joe Z Vikings video. See you guys next time.